I'm Bronwyn. I am new working here. You may have seen me outside photographing some food items, but I do finance stuff, marketing, and a little bit of recipe development. So I'd love to show you what a typical night looks like for me. I've been really loving the fall produce recently and hadn't tried Honeynut squash. It's kind of like butternut squash, but a little bit smaller, and they're so good. So I definitely want to incorporate this. We'll start with some onions and garlic roasted with the Honeynut squash, and then we'll make a white wine sauce with it. If you're a big fan of mushrooms, I would also recommend grabbing some of our Haashrooms. They make a great addition to any pasta dish. Gotta grab some pasta as well. Rigatoni is my personal favorite, but we have some gluten-free options or other shapes depending on what you like. I'm not huge on dairy, but I've heard nothing but good things about this French butter, so I feel like I have to get it. I thought I knew a lot about cooking before I started working here, but I've realized that these are the experts back here. So I'm gonna figure out with Steve here what the best fish would be. Wonderful. I think I'm gonna go with the triggerfish. All right, we are back in the kitchen and we're gonna cut up the Honeynut squash first. This is what they look like on the inside. I have been preheating the oven to 400 degrees. The Honeynut squash should take about 25 to 30 minutes at that temperature. I am gonna use three large cloves of garlic. I'll put probably a half in each of these little squash, and then we'll throw probably 6 sage leaves on there as well. All right, now grab your olive oil and drizzle that on. No real measurement necessary here. And this is what we've got. Halves of Honeynut squash with their sage, garlic, and some olive oil. Right, while those are in the oven, I'm gonna roughly dice a white onion and mince 1 more clove of garlic to start sauteing in a pan with some olive oil to prepare our sauce. I have also been letting my fish set out on the counter. It's best to cook it at room temperature, at least that's what I've heard. I know the Haashrooms can be a little intimidating. I myself am mildly intimidated. Mushrooms you definitely don't want to wash because they soak up water, but you can rub them with a paper towel or a towel to get any dirt off. But I'm using oyster mushrooms tonight. I'm just gonna take off each individual piece and toss them in the pan like that. Super easy. All right, now getting started on our sauce. I am gonna throw a cup of raw cashews in a blender. And then once we take the Honeynut squash out of the oven in a few minutes, I'll add that in as well with some water and blend it right up. All right, the squash and red pepper flakes have been added into the blender. I'm gonna add a half a cup of water to start and see how that goes and just blend it until perfectly smooth. I'm gonna dump this sauce in here with the onions and Haashrooms and garlic. And I'm also going to add a cup of white wine. So I am going to heat up this frying pan with a little bit of butter, probably about a tablespoon. And then I am going to do Triggerfish today, which is a special that we have right now. I am going to toss this in and do about 3 minutes on each side. Now we just have to plate it.